Losing matches like this is really hard because you were down 2-0, you played better than the other team, you find the equalizer, you have plenty of time in the second half to win this match, and then in the last second, you lose it. This is very hard to accept. Lazio didn't play that bad. So Alasdair, that always joining me tonight. Do you take the positive side that Lazio was able to recover, played better than Milan, that is top of the table, is the team playing better, etc.? Or do you see the negative side? Lazio was able to lose a match that was dominating after 20 minutes. So what?
It's of all the kind of live games I say live games, of all the games for us to come and talk about live immediately after the match, this is surely one of the hardest, because it's very hard to kind of at this point take a kind of I guess an objective approach to the match, because Lazio from the 15th minute until maybe the 85th minute, I would say probably played their best football of the season. But the errors that they made in those moments, from the 1st to the 15th and from the 85th onwards, were just such painful and basic errors to concede twice from corners that it's hard to really then say, well, it was a great performance and Lazio. I do think they deserved more than a defeat, for sure. But again, if you can't do that, can't do the basics right defensively, then you've only got yourselves to blame.
Yeah, Alasdair, the other thing is, we're going to talk about the ref later probably, but on the first goal, there's Maruzic that is not jumping and allow Rebic to hit 1 meter from the post with no problem. The second one, we always said, sliding, diving in the penalty box is very, very, very dangerous. Patrick did it again. The third one, Luis Alberto is watching his opponent jumping and going to the ball, and he's watching him. So 3 goals, 3 bad mistakes of our defense. Or not a defense, because people will say, well, Luis Alberto is not a defender and so on. But yeah, of our defending team, how people should defend. Again, Lazio scored 2 beautiful goals, because, I mean, Luis Alberto goal was very, very complicated to score like that. And the second one it's a beauty. So you can see from one side, Lazio has to do something special to score. And on the other side, we allow easy goal, like, and against a team like Milan, who is very confident, who is playing great football, this cannot happen, because then it gets complicated to win or to get a point.
Yeah, I think it's one of these games that goes to show how small the margins are in terms of what the narrative is going to be coming off from it. Because if Lazio just had those corners clear, they win the game. Everyone talks about how they've made this comeback in the space of 3 days by beating Napoli, beating Milan, ending them beat and run. But they don't do that, and suddenly it's all about how Milan's winning mentality is what's making them for title contenders and so on. The reality of the matter tonight was that Lazio dominated the best team in Italy so far this season from, I'd say maybe 75-80% of this game. They were completely all over them. Now, in that time, though, did they really manage to test Donnarumma? Not really.
No.
That concerns me a bit. That they required a moment of absolute magic from Milinkovic-Savic and Immobile to get through that defence, as well as obviously the penalty, which was soft, but so was Milan one. So, But so that's what I mean. I mean, Milan's defence has been good this season. Donnarumma's a top keeper, but I just didn't think that for all the dominance Lazio had, they created quite enough. And I think we've got a lot of concerns about Murici, because for the time he spent on the pitch tonight, I don't think he did nearly enough, and I think it was quite concerning, his performance.
Michael, I feel a little bit like you. I'm mentally and physically worn down after this match, even because I have to be honest, after the first 20 minutes, I was really concerned. And then when Lazio started playing and was able to find the equalizer, I thought, wow, we're going to win this match. To see the team collapsing in the last 5 minutes like that was concerning. Both Oliver and Mohamed are saying that Lazio lost because of the two substitution. Obviously, they're referring of Milinkovic-Savic and Ciro Immobile substitution. Alasdair, I was surprised. I was surprised because I can agree that Ciro Immobile wasn't playing his best match. I think he missed the penalty, but he scored a beauty. And apart from that, he wasn't playing great football. Milinkovic-Savic looked tired, but again, he was playing. He made a couple of magic things there. Do you think Inzaghi made the wrong call in taking both them off?
Well, I mean, all the evidence says yes, right? I mean, it was a case of bringing them off, and Lazio are suddenly not on the front foot anymore. I don't think Lazio managed to keep up the intensity of their control over the game. That's the thing I was the most impressed with tonight above all, was the intensity and the tempo of Lazio's football, because that's something I don't think we've really seen at all in the last few weeks, is Lazio playing with that kind of speed and intensity and energy. And clearly Inzaghi had succeeded in getting the message across to the players before tonight that, look, this is our last big push before we get some time off, so we have to give this everything we've got. And they did. But I think bringing off Immobile and Milinkovic-Savic at the same time, it's not even so much whether they're tired or not, it's more what that says to the rest of the team. And I think that on some level, to the rest of the players, to see those guys who are kind of completely talismanic figures to this side walking off the pitch and being replaced by Akpakpro and Andreas Pereira, who have been useful players for Lazio this season but are nowhere near that level in the squad, it changes things completely. You know, when you think about that midfield, then having Cataldi, Akpakpro, and then Pereira and Murici up front, it's just, I don't think they were capable of really having the same connection. You know, I think that was a big part of the problem for Murici tonight, was he still doesn't connect with the team properly. He still doesn't seem to understand what his place is and how the team play and where to be and what to do. And you know, when you put more and more of those kind of players on the pitch, I think it became a bit more of a confusing to the game. And as a result, they ended up under pressure and conceding the goal.
Yeah, I think Murici is a little bit like Alistair McKenzie in Lazio Lounge. Still doesn't know where to fit, what to do, etc. But, you know.
Brutal. It's Christmas time. You're supposed to be nice to me now.
Rami Algendi saying Murici is man of the match. What are you talking about? His ponytail was awesome. Yeah, I thought those substitutions changed the momentum of the team. We were dominating at that moment. Again, as you said before, the problem is we didn't create that many chances. Donnarumma made a couple of saves, but nothing special. Yes, we put the ball in the box very often, but how many times did we shot on target? And by the way, if Murici scores a back heel on the corner kick, I mean, everything changes, right? He was very close there. So I don't know, Alasdair, is Murici becoming a concern? Is it a problem, or we have to give him time? Because yes, he had so many injury problems. He comes from a different football, etc. But we are in December, and we really saw very little from him.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, we have. He's not had that much time on the pitch, really. You know, he's had a lot of substitute appearances. He had a big injury, and he's only just recovered from that to come back into the squad. So my concern is that, yeah, he will need time, of course, and I think if we want him to improve, we have to give him that time. We have to be willing for him to have some bad games, to need the time to adapt to the team and work his way in. But I still don't understand why the club paid this much money for him if it's going to take this long. because it doesn't seem like something I mentioned before when we've talked about him is that it's not just a case of him fitting in, it's a case of Inzaghi working out how to fit him in, because Inzaghi's never had a player like him before available either. So you've got both the coach and the player trying to work each other out and work out how they can work together the best. So, yeah, I'm a bit concerned. I was more concerned tonight than I have been with other performances of Muricis. I think a lot of the reaction to his games has often been a bit too much, a bit too fast. But tonight he had a lot of time to make an impact, and from start to finish, I thought he looked confused and out of sorts. Really, like he wasn't really connecting with the rest of the team. So yeah, we need time. We do need time, but time's something Lazio are running out of a little bit, because if we want to qualify for the Champions League next year, we're going to need to start picking up points.
Yes, I agree with Salmir. Inzaghi had a bad day at work. I thought it wasn't even easy because you lose Tucu Correa in the first half, and I thought, and we saw it last year, right? Tucu Correa is the secret weapon to beat AC Milan. He did it twice last year. Without him, Lazio doesn't have that type of striker, speedy, that can put under pressure Milan defense. I was surprised, Alasdair, to see Murici coming in instead of Caicedo, because usually that's the option. Maybe because Lazio was down and Inzaghi was desperate to recover. That's why he put in Murici. I thought, to be honest with you, even Ciro Immobile didn't play a great match. But the big difference is Ciro Immobile step up and in the second half made an incredible goal. Talking about the table, well, now Lazio is 8th. We are 5 points from the 4th position because Sassuolo is 4th at 26. So things have changed a lot. I don't think the race is over, Alasdair, but it's going to be complicated now because you have to recover a lot of points. You didn't keep up. After beating Napoli, beating Milan would give you the momentum, the confidence, etc. And it didn't happen. So I'm a little bit concerned. The thing is, I don't understand how it's possible Lazio played so well against Napoli and then start so poorly against Milan. Then step up, play well 60 minutes, and then the last 5 bad again. Don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I think we can just hope that the break is going to do this team some good. I mean, the same can be said for all the teams. A lot of Milan fans who you would have seen tonight are complaining about the same things we're complaining about, which is how relentless the fixtures have been and time we've got. And the two teams were fairly even on that regard as well. Obviously, we lost during the game, which didn't help. But I think some time off will hopefully help. Come back in the new year and make things on with a fresh approach. But yeah, you're right. I mean, it's up. The one thing I would say is that this season has just been so unpredictable. I can't imagine that 4 who are there at the moment, which now features Roma in 3rd place and Sassuolo in 4th place. I don't think that's going to be fixed for the rest of the season, and that they're going to race away as the top 4 movement in this between now and the end of the season. But what Lazio need is they need to form that golden month or two, get everything right. And let's be honest, that does tend to happen at some point in most seasons within a moment where this team looks at its peak, and where we've not close to that yet in terms of the consistency of that performance. So I guess we have to hope.
I don't know. I'm not confident. Per Nielsen is saying we have to be questioning Tare. Have he done a great deal the last 2 years? Don't know. Don't remember. Last year was terrible because all the signings only Lazio is still in the squad, right?
No, no. Look, this is a really, because I think you find a lot of people kind of wetting themselves about Iglitare and the fact, because when he's got things right at Lazio, he's got them really right. Immobile, Lucas, Alberto. And also had, Ibril Cisse and Bisaha and, Helder Postiga. We've had a lot of flops, not to Dermisi and Johnny, and the problem we've got in that area. It's not like he's without flaws at all. And yeah, we can have some questions to raise. I think one of the questions that still hasn't been answered is how good is he as a sporting director when he's got more money to spend? Because when he's had money to spend, he's not spent it that well. I mean, if you think about the fees that were handed over for Dermisi, for Berisha, now for Dennis Vavro, Vedat Marici now talking about, he spent more money on those four players together than he had on, probably Lucas and Alberto and Smilinkovic together. So I think almost when he's on a smaller budget, he's more happy. And when he's been told he's got more money to spend, he's found it difficult to spend it correctly. I think it's a good point. The last couple of years haven't been great.
Yes, and now if Murici fails, his two most spending players have performed badly. Vavro, it's out of the top of the team, right? And he cost us 12 million euros, and Vavro and Murici 18. And today, I thought it could have been his match. Instead, he didn't perform at all. So yes, this is really concerning. Still, said this, I thought Lazio was a better team than AC Milan. I think Lazio is a better team than Milan, and we show it tonight. And people will say, well, Milan was missing a lot of players. Yes, but don't forget Lazio was without Acerbi, Leiva, Fares, and so on. So, Lazio was in not a good position. We lost Correa after 35 minutes. So it wasn't easy for Lazio to play this match, and we dominated. I mean, it's hard to believe that Lazio lost this match because we played much better than AC Milan, but they were dangerous because before the goal, Reina made an unbelievable save. Otherwise, they would have scored early. And it's incredible because Lazio plays so much better, and AC Milan had bigger chances.
Well, yeah, exactly. And you could say playing on the counter attack, maybe they would. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, I do find it frustrating. I feel like Alberto actually had a decent game and at the same time managed to not really do that much. I think probably better than we're used to. But yeah, I mean, well, that comment there is quite interesting. Thomas Scarlett, I'll never be sold Maricic. We had a sure left-footed winger to play next to Alberto. We could have been dangerous this season. Yeah, I mean, Maricic actually I thought was one of the more dangerous Lazio players tonight, and the attacks with real intent. He was always an option. He put in a hell of a shift in terms of the ground he was covering and the speed he was covering it in, but he was at fault for the opening goal. Defensively, he wasn't always available when Milan were counter-attacking either. I think we did see him trying a few more of those left-footed crosses after the successful one against Napoli a few days ago. But yeah, I mean, I think for me, essentially what Maricic is he's quite a good deputy to Lazzari. That's what he's supposed to be. The problem is that the left wing-back position is completely uncatered for. We don't have any left wing-backs who are available without Fares, without Lulic. Dermisi frozen out of the squad. So he kind of has to play there. And yeah, again, maybe that's the fault of Tari. If you're wanting to point blame at anyone, I wouldn't point at Maricic. He's being played out of position. I would say, why the hell has a squad been built that's so dependent on wing-backs where we don't have proper wing-backs?
Yeah, I fear that with Marusic, we already used the jolly in the against Napoli. We'll never see a cross like that anymore. So that's my concern. But I agree with what you said, which is concerning about Luis Alberto. If you go in deep and watch his match, he didn't provide an assist. He never put a player in front of the goalkeeper. He had a couple of chances and he went through it and tried to score. It's not the Luis Alberto I'm used to see. He played well. He moved the ball better, but it's still not the player I remember. So that's maybe one of the reasons why Lazio dominated ball possession but wasn't able to create that many chances. So I don't know if something changed in Inzaghi mentality, playing Luis Alberto in a different position, but it wasn't the normal Luis Alberto. And again, yes, we have to hope that something happened this January, that finally we signed a left wing back that can play at the Champions League level, because I don't think Lulic is coming back, guys. So we need someone else there. Or Javan Anderson start playing, which is not happening. Or we sign someone else, because we need rotation. I thought Lazzari was very tired. Marusic, we know that he's a little bit injury prone, so we can rely on him consistently. So these are the problems.
The other thing is, sorry to interrupt,
Oh, no.
but while people are talking about Marusic and how ridiculous it is to have a right-footed left wing back, Lulic is right-footed. He's been our first choice left wing back for years and years now, and people are kind of at the same time talking about Lulic coming back as being the answer to our problems. Well, I'm sorry, but Lulic does the same thing. He cuts inside. Yes, he's better with his left foot, but he is right-footed. He cuts inside an awful lot and plays passes back and does the same stuff. It's not like that's when we've had Senad Lulic playing on that side, he's been bombing down the flank and whipping in left-footed crosses all the time. That's just not how we've been playing. So, yeah, this is not a new issue,
and
it's not exclusive to Marusic.
the only thing about this, Alasdair, is when people were complaining about Lulic crosses, I hope you all change your mind and feel like, wow, I'm really missing Lulic, because compared to these players, he was crossing much better. And unfortunately, it's the truth, right? It's the truth, because at least with Lulic, we were dangerous when he had the chance to put the ball in the box. Now we're not anymore. And yeah, I think the biggest problem with Tare is that he didn't find a replacement for Senad Lulic, who now is injured, but he was anyway 34. So, you need to find a replacement for a player that's old, and this didn't happen.
Yeah, I mean, the strange thing is that I think at this point where you've got this squad at this age where the key players are getting on a bit, you can still rely on a lot of these players, but I think what you want to be doing at this stage, if you're a good sporting director, is to build a team, have a kind of succession plan in place. And with Senad Lulic, we don't have that. With Stefan Radu, we don't have that. With Francesco Acerbi, we don't have that. With Lucas Leiva, we maybe have that with Escalante, but we don't really know yet. And, that's quite a few. Marco Parolo, it's not the same thing, but it is very useful to have a guy who's as versatile as he is, and we don't have another player in the team who does what he does. So if you think about all the actual experienced players in this team, he has failed to actually put together a succession plan. Or what I would say is that the guys who've been brought in who could be part of that succession plan have been either ignored or they've given up on them. Dennis Vavro was brought in, age 23, big centre-back. We thought, okay, could be a long-term option to be in the centre-back position when Acerbi gets too old. He's not in the squad anymore, so okay, he's not doing that. Left centre-back, we need someone who's going to play instead of Stefan Radu. Okay, Nicolo Armini, he's a left-footed centre-back. Maybe we can use him. He's been very good at Primavera level. No, he doesn't play any games, so we don't get to see him. Instead, we're bringing in Wesley Ho, who's definitely not the option to succeed Radu long term. At the moment, the succession plan with Stefan Radu is playing a Cherby there, who's also over 30. So I'm kind of ranting about something completely different now, but I do find it a bit frustrating.
but the question here is, do you have to blame Tare or Inzaghi for this? Because, for example, we had Pedro Neto, we sent it away. Vavro, we said it last year, we said it in August, guys, he's not ready to play for Lazio. You need to give him 6 months. He played well against Sampdoria after, what was it, February? And that was his last match. He never had another chance. I don't know. Maybe we don't know. In the locker room, he had a fight with the Simone Inzaghi. I don't know. Ryan Murray is asking, are Caicedo and Strakosha in the bad books with Inzaghi or what? Well, maybe this is what happened with Vavro. I don't know. I was surprised to see Murici coming in instead of Caicedo. About Strakosha, Inzaghi said, at the moment, Reina is the starter. He deserved it. And I thought today he played well, Reina. He made a very important save. This still didn't save us, but at least he played well. And yeah, my concern is you should push on a younger goalkeeper, not a 30 years old goalkeeper. But that's another discussion. But yes.
Yeah, I've got a theory about this, which is linked to what I've just been talking about, and it's kind of the succession plan thing. I think a big part of the reason that Strakosha is out of the team right now, and that Inzaghi maybe doesn't see him as being his long-term goalkeeper, is that Inzaghi wants his goalkeeper to do what Reina did tonight, which is be an extra outfield player. Because a hell of a lot of Lazio's play tonight, and a lot of the games he's played in, has been based around the fact that he can be used as an extra option to take the ball back to him, take it in his feet, pick out a pass, and be calm with the ball at his feet. That's something Strakosha has never really been able to do. I don't think Inzaghi trusts him to be able to play that kind of sweeper-keeper role where he is essentially an auxiliary defender. So he is trusting a 38-year-old guy to do that more because he thinks he can help more with that side of the game. That's my new theory about why Reina is playing ahead of Strakosha. Because Strakosha's not done an awful lot to let him down while he's been playing in goals. He's not made big mistakes or anything like that. But the one weakness, as we've talked about a lot of times in Strakosha's game, is that he's not brilliant with the ball at his feet. Inzaghi wants a goalkeeper who can be. And at the moment, he's got one who can, who's 31, who can't, who's 25. So he's going with the 38-year-old because it fits game plan. Well, I don't know what that says about long-term planning either, but I think that's a big part of the reason why it's happening.
So you're quite happy that Inzaghi still didn't renew his contract? This is what you're telling me.
No, I'm not placing all of this on Inzaghi at all. I mean, my point isn't that. My point is that Inzaghi wants to play a certain style of football, and it's pretty obvious by now. And he hasn't always been given the players he needs. I think it's a combination, like you said already. I think it's a combination of the two. I think Tari and Inzaghi have both, been at fault for not getting everything absolutely right. I feel like we've derailed quite a lot here and kind of gone into a big soul-searching deconstruction of the entire Lazio setup here, which isn't what I intended to do because I haven't given up on life after tonight. But yeah, I think these are interesting points.
Inzaghi, by the way, just spoke and said that it's unfortunate because Lazio played better, but Lazio made mistakes on those AC Milan goals, and this is something that we don't have to repeat again. On free kicks, you have to be very careful. Marusic on the first goal, Luis Alberto on the second, give too much space. We played well, but against big team, we cannot make mistakes, and that's why we lost. So, we don't finish the year very well, Alasdair. A year started very, very well with Lazio fighting for the Scudetto, and now we're not even close to the Champions League. I think there is a lot of time because we saw Napoli playing against Lazio, didn't convince me. We saw Roma. Well, you saw it a lot of time, but I saw Roma against Atalanta, Milan, etc., being dominated. I still think that Lazio can reach the 4th position, but it's time to wake up. It's time to be more concrete, to make less mistakes, and to be more focused. I think the biggest difference was that Milan players are very focused. They play every single match like it's the Champions League final. I think Lazio players are not that focused. I don't know if it's Inzaghi to blame for that or the players that simply are relaxing a little bit after last season.
Yeah, I mean, whatever it is, they do need to sort it out. I mean, there's more than enough talent in this team to turn the season round, to get back to something approaching what they were last season. Last season, obviously the circumstances are completely different for most of it, with the crowds in the stadium and not having quite as many games. But yeah, I mean, look, I don't think there's anything to fear from the league this year. No one's good this year. I'm sorry, but if that's the best team in the league who we've just played, no one's good this year. There are so many problems with all the teams in Italy this year, including Lazio. But
Definitely.
I think that's almost weirdly a reason to be cheerful, because if this was another season where Juventus are running away with the title and Antonio Conte is grinding out wins every week at Inter, and Roma and Milan and Napoli are all flying, then they'd be really concerned. But look, all the teams in Serie A this season have big flaws and are struggling in their own way with this season. So I think that everything's still possible. But yeah, like we said right at the start, it needs to have an answer quite soon, I think.
Yeah, as Yellow's 90s pointing out, Keita goal with Candreva assist tonight sums it up.
No.
It's even true that Keita got sent off afterwards. So I'm trying to look what happened. Because, yeah, straight red card. Wow. Terrible tackle. What happened?
Oh, wow. No, I'd missed that. Yeah, I like how Ranieri's trying to reconstruct
yeah, terrible tackle.
Lazio team of 5 years ago.
No, I don't believe it. He scored from a corner kick. Corner kick of Candreva outside the box for Keita. So it's not the typical take Keita type of action. Anyway, yeah, Alasdair, let's wrap it up like this from Pierre Nielsen. Merry Christmas and Happy New Year, guys. Thanks to you and to all our listener followers on iTunes, Spreaker, YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, wherever you're following us. Thanks so much for your support. Again, we started very well. We didn't finish the year in the same tone, unfortunately. But as Alasdair said, there's not a team that impressed me. Maybe Milan is the one that impressed me more, but we dominated today against AC Milan. We should have won this match. So there's a lot of regrets. But I think if Lazio step up and finally play with consistency, recover all the injured players, because I think Lazio is the team with more injured players this season, I think we can enjoy the next year. Obviously, Champions League is going to be really hard against Bayern Munich. But in the league, in Serie A, I think Lazio is still able to reach the 4th spot. Have I been too optimistic, Alasdair, or do you agree?
No, I mean, like I've said all along, I think all it'll take is a run of form, and everything changes. We've seen that happen before. The gap isn't big at the moment. The fixture list isn't going to be quite as brutal. At least we've got some time off now to try and recover a few players. I think we just need to hope and pray that there are no more COVID outbreaks or serious injury problems to derail us. But yeah, I mean, anything's possible. It's only 14 games. Is it 14? 14 games into the season, I think. So it's a 38 and there's a hell of a lot still to come. And yeah, it's a bit I think that fact actually is a bit lost in all this because it's Christmas and it's New Year, and we're used to at this time of year talking about being at kind of the halfway point of the season, and we're not actually quite there yet. So yeah, I think we can still be positive. And look, yes, it's Christmas time, so let's be positive. And I hope you've spotted, by the way, the Chiro at the top of my tree.
Your tree is so small, Alasdair. I would hide it.
It's a huge tree. Look.
You're embarrassing.
Yeah, that's all going to be lost for any audio listeners. So apologies for that. But I mean, look,
30 minutes. Yeah. Okay, Alasdair. Merry Christmas to you. Merry Christmas to our listener, and Happy New Year. I think we're gonna be back after the 3rd of January because there is, what is it, Genoa Lazio? Yep, Genoa Lazio.
Genoa Lazio.
Yep, 3rd of January.
Yeah.
So
Ballardini again.
And then we're playing Fiorentina the 6th of January. So a little break for everybody. Time for Alasdair to learn how to build a bigger tree. And for everybody to relax, focus, maybe recover some injured players. And again, Merry Christmas, everybody. Happy New Year. We're going to talk next year. It's not very far because it's already the 23rd. So just a week and we're going to be back. Bye, Alasdair. Bye, everybody.
Bye. Merry Christmas.